Die modeblog The Threaded Man is die mediavennoot vir die eerste South African Menswear Week. Die man agter die gewilde blok, SA Beyile, is vanaand by my in die ateljee om oor mansmodes in Suid-Afrika te gesels. Welcome, SA.
Thank you, so good to be here. I love your studio. It's like, I want to live here.
You are most welcome. We all want to live here. It's a beautiful design.
Yeah, it's amazing.
How did you end up being in design?
Wow, it's such a journey. I'm basically from Cape Town. I went to Wambek Boys High School. And I kind of just fell into fashion. I remember I didn't want to go into a normal university and I just wanted to do something bigger than myself. And I've always loved design and aesthetic. So I decided to go to LISOF, which is a fashion school here in Johannesburg. And I started The Threaded Man as just a blog sharing men's fashion and lifestyle tips. And literally within a few months, it just really picked up. And what was cool about that as well is that, you know, it almost happened in a sense that during that time, I had to drop out of school as well due to unforeseen circumstances. And literally The Threaded Man literally gave me legs to stand on, and I just really did it full time and pushed it and gave it my all. And towards the end of last year, I met Sylvia Skitter, Managing Director of Stratitude, and she became our business partner and helped me turn what was a blog into Africa's largest men's fashion lifestyle portal. And I'm only 21 years old, so I'm living my dream.
Congratulations. So you didn't finish your course?
No, I didn't finish my course, but I am continuing my studies this year, yes.
You see, you basically almost didn't need it because you've got something established that's quite remarkable already in its own right.
I think the world has changed. You know, traditionally we are told that, you know, you need to go to school, get a job, and that's your life. And what I'm happy about, because of, you know, the internet era and the online digital era, you got your Mark Zuckerberg, you've got your Bill Gates, who didn't necessarily take the normal school learning route, but they carried on with their dream and they believed in what they did. And I believe that there's other ways of learning. You don't have to have formal schooling. If you commit to reading, going online and researching what interests you and spend time perfecting your craft is very important. Even today, I'm still a student because each and every day I'm doing my research. I'm getting to know what's happening overseas in Men's Fashion Week. I'm attending Men's Fashion Weeks. You know, I'm speaking to designers. So to do that, it also needs you to be open-minded and to actually understand what is that you are doing.
Why specifically men's fashion?
I think in Africa, we're going into a very big risk because we're losing our identity. I believe that Africa is the richest country, Okay,
just hold on a second. What would you say that identity is?
Identity is basically knowing what you like, what you don't like, who you are and what you stand for. And that's made up of two things. It's made up of your culture, where you're from, and it's also made up of the kind of person you want to be and where you're going. And usually our style represents both of those. For example, today, you know, I'm wearing a shirt because I'm Xhosa and that's my culture. And as men in Xhosa style, we need to tie up our shirts. Oh. So my shirt represents my Xhosa vibe, but then I'm also young and very busy and exciting. So my jeans are ripped and I've worn like multicolored shoes. So each and every person's style adds a bit of who they are, which is their culture, and also where they're going in their minds as well. And I think that in Africa, as men, we don't have that, and all we do is just imitate what we see overseas. So it's important in Africa to educate men about what it is, what is style, and how do you find that style. And that's what The Threaded Man does.
I must be honest with you.
Yes.
I find that African men understand style so well.
Yeah.
They know how to incorporate trends.
Yeah.
Is that a natural instinct, or is that just appreciation for something beautiful?
I think it's a natural instinct in the sense that, you know, Africa, we have such diverse cultures, and within our cultures, and every single culture has its own way of dressing. You know, certain colors mean certain things, and most men actually get that sort of dressing from their culture and incorporate that into their personal style. Now, I think, you know, the problem is then because we see European style and American style, we always think that's better because it's not like us and because we see it at a commercial level. And so basically my thing is to tell Africans, your style is fantastic, and put that style on a commercial level and say, listen, Americans, we can also do it as Africans.
Do you think it's going to happen? Do you think that a South African or more ethnical design will break into the international market and we'll have people in New York wear shirts?
Yeah, let me tell you something interesting is that in the next 20 years, the African fashion market will be the biggest in the world. Will be a multi-billion-dollar.
How do you know that?
I know that because of the business of fashion and also your holding companies like Louis Vuitton who run basically the inter-European and American scene, are looking into infiltrate Africa, and they're also looking to grow brands in Africa because they realize that we have such a rich culture here and there's so much stories to tell. And also we have a lot of young designers who are literally branching out into Europe as well as America. And as you can see with Men's Fashion Week, it's the start of something great and something bigger than ourselves.
What can we expect at this Men's Fashion Week?
I think what you can expect and what is exciting is that you attending shows where you can see a mixture of young designers as well as veteran designers. For example, your Craig Port, who's been a designer for over 20 years and has lasted in the industry. And then at the same time, you've got your Genevieve Leons, you've got your Rich Nisi, who are literally like 22, 23 years old, and they're showing on this spectacle. So I love the fact that we can have sort of that diversity, and also just to have those designers in one room because they can give each other advice, and also it creates an amazing synergy for them to help each other growth.
I find it fascinating because men's fashion, we are almost used to it as being restricted in a sense,
yes,
and not as experimental as women,
yes,
would be. They would just go all the way and just wear all the trends, as men tends to hold back. But with the arrival of international stores like Topshop and so on, it's almost like men are more conscious.
Yes.
And I know that Lee Edelkoort specifically predicted that we are moving into the dress-up male.
Yes.
Are we starting to live that now as we speak?
Oh, yes. I mean, I see it on the website, The Threaded Man, and the feedback that we get, because we cover grooming, we cover skincare, we cover all that sort of wide spectrum, and men are very interested in that. The only problem is that the reason why we've been so slow towards progressing in that sense is that there's not enough outlets that allow men to have access to that content, you know, to have access to a portal where they can engage with content on that level. And I think we are. I mean, we're looking after how we just, I mean, you'll see around Johannesburg, Cape Town, how guys have now all these man buns and all these beards, that they look after. So as men, we are becoming more aware of what we wear, whether we're hippie or whether we're from the Eastern Cape and we're closer. And I think it's really wonderful to see.
Sia, thank you so much.
Yeah.
All the best. I think it's going to be spectacular to see the growth. I hope all it's true. I hope that Africa will be a fashion industry to boom in future, and that the rest of the world will take their beat from us.
Yeah, and as the Threaded Man, we'll make sure that African fashion for men does go to that level, and we won't rest until that happens.
All the best for that, Sia.
Thank you so much.
Sia Bonga, Sia. En dit was Sia Beyile van die blog The Threaded Man.